Yes, y'all, you know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 360. Oh, snap.
All right.
It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router, Ed Placencia, and Chris McCracken, of course. And as always, we are talking games and life and games.
Tell 'em.
And the problem with talking about games and life and games is sometimes we got to talk about life.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes life sucks.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, we try to promote everything positive on this podcast. Of course, we have our opinions about things being good, things being bad, but overall, the temperature of this podcast is all about loving each other well, talking things out. If you don't like something, I'm down to hear you out. If you don't like something, I'm down to listen to what you got going on. And some days the world just feels crazy, man. Like,
Yeah.
real crazy. And
Yep.
obviously, our country was shaken by, again, just like a senseless acts of violence this last week.
Ridiculous.
And what was so weird is that, so I'm on a bus with all non-gamers pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And so as, the news is coming out and motives are coming out and people are speculating about this, that, and the other, of course, we see gaming get brought up and thrown into the heap once again, like it always is. And that happened on my bus, as I'm sitting there with my Switch and everything like that, which is, just a weird thing to think about at the time. And we're not going to go into a big back and forth about all that. We know what the numbers actually promote.
The research speaks for itself.
We know that the whole world has video games. The whole world has action movies. The whole world's got gangster rap.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, exactly, right? However, something's going awry in what I call the greatest country on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love being here.
It still is, man. It still is.
I think this place is amazing. But we got some issues, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to stand as married to the games and continue to say, talk to each other, continue to have discussions. We think it's important. Whether you agree or disagree about this, that, and the other, I think one-on-one conversations are really the first step to us seeing eye to eye about some stuff.
Yep.
If we were to yell on this podcast about what we think and you couldn't respond back, or, when you see someone on TV and it seems like they're all on one side, I don't think that gets us anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's all that's been going on right now. Everybody has an opinion about
Everybody's
everything.
yelling.
And they're all yelling at each other. And it's just like, this is not being productive. We are not honoring these people that had to tragically lose their lives. Like, this is not the answer, is just going back and forth and yelling and, well, you did, and interrupting. It's not happening.
Of course. So I would encourage us as the Married to the Games family, like we've said before, there's a step beyond thoughts and prayers.
Yes.
And there's action. And the smallest actions you could take, I think, is talking to one another, loving each other well, and moving forward, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right? As some families are torn apart and can't, feel like tomorrow, will never come. So that's all I can encourage you to do. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, do you think that your video games numb you to the things that are going on? And I say, what's crazy? I think the only numbing of mass shootings that happens is because there's so many mass shootings.
Exactly. Bingo.
It ain't got nothing to do with the video games.
Did they actually say your video games too?
No,
like
they did, but they were talking to me, the game, they were saying,
Yeah.
so these video games you play kind of thing, it was the attitude behind it. And again, I ain't get mad. I ain't get all up in arms about it. So talk to each other, love each other well. The sun will rise tomorrow. And it'll probably rise the next day and probably the next day.
Lord willing.
And yes, and as time goes on, our wounds heal. We get scar tissue. That tissue gets harder to, get through. So we got to love each other, man. We have to talk to each other while these things are going on. Yelling back and forth is, to me, not the answer. Anybody want to add anything? I just wanted to touch on that before we get started. I don't want to act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I just thought, as gamers, we're used to hearing every few, however often it is, video games are the cause for XYZ. And I feel like this time around, maybe it's just the algorithm in my news feeds, or maybe it actually was, but I felt like this time around, I saw a lot more people posting, actually, here are the numbers.
There was a lot of apologists going on, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, it felt like it wasn't relegated to page 6, but it felt like it was page 1 a lot of times. And that was really cool to see a lot of people saying, no. Here's what the research shows.
I agree with that.
Yes, a couple of my friends did that.
I loved seeing the hashtag video games are not to blame trending.
Yep.
In at least it was America. I don't know if it was trending all across Twitter, but it was just nice to see, like Ed's saying, a lot of people stand up, and even some political people stand up and say, like, guys, can we at least consider the numbers? Let's at least consider it. Let's look at all these other countries. Let's look at us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think the long, hard look in the mirror is always nice.
Yeah.
Well, and to add to that, I think it's been video games that have come up, but also mental health continues to come up.
Yep.
And it comes up every time. Both of these issues come up at the same time. And there is a lot of data that says, no, man, like that's not all. That's not everything. We got other things. Can we at least try something else? Can we try something different? That's all. That's all I want. That's all I want to do.
Yep. Chris, you got anything to add, buddy?
No, I mean, I'm in the same kind of boat as Ed, where I do feel like this go around, I saw way more people than just on my gaming side of Twitter coming out of the woodworks and being like, well, actually, I saw articles by PBS, Washington Post, all these different places on top of people like sharing those articles saying, you know, video games are not to blame. It's stupid to go down that route. It's been shown over and over via study that if it has anything to do with anything, it's like negligible, like within the margin of error kind of thing. It's just,
Yeah. So
go play video games and enjoy them.
Yeah. And I think, we're always in times of dire straits like this, we're always looking for something to blame. And we ain't found it yet.
Yeah.
But we keep looking in the same spot, and the same spot keeps coming up empty, man. That's the thing.
Exactly.
We're looking,
right.
We are every time this happens, and it happens a lot, we are looking at the same spot and getting nowhere because that's not the answer.
That's right.
And that's the frustrating part.
So obviously, our hearts definitely go out to these families. I cannot even imagine it as a father myself. I wish everything could be what happened in Times Square, where it was just a big misunderstanding. But that's not the case here. So y'all know what to do, family. Y'all know exactly what to do. Y'all do it every day on our Discord. You guys do it on our Twitter. You guys do it on our Facebook. And so I know that the guys and gals of this family will continue being who they are, and we appreciate you guys because of that.
Yep.
Definitely. Eduardo.
Yes, sir.
Besides the awfulness that happened this week, how's your time been?
It's been good. Sarah is home. She got back Sunday, and so it was just so nice to, after we got home and settled in and picked her up from the airport, it was just nice to hear her say, "Can we play Borderlands?" I really missed it.
Yes, girl. Yes. Love that.
That girl love her some Borderlands, huh?
Yeah, it
Hook,
was
line, and sinker, man.
It
Love
was so nice. Yeah, so we've been playing Borderlands, and other than that, it's been pretty much back to business as usual.
Yeah.
We went over to my my brother and his daughter Valencia. It was her birthday, so went over there, and I introduced everyone to Ready Player One.
Ooh.
And it was funny because it was by Valencia's request that we watched that movie, which really surprised me.
Really? How old is Valencia?
She just turned 17.
Nice.
So they came over a few months ago and watched it. I had no idea. Apparently, Ray told me she fell in love with the movie.
Hey-o.
Nice.
Which was really cool just because they have an old Wii and that is it. You know, she's not a gamer at all. And just the fact that I was just super surprised that she got into the movie. And so I feel like I'm doing my good uncle job of getting that little slivers of nerddom in there for her.
Yeah, I feel like they did so well with that movie, still making it pop culture enough to where you didn't feel like you had to be a gamer to enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah, they really did.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. Gaming wise, you know, Borderlands 2, of course, been playing Overwatch, of course, got in a couple games with Tim right before we started recording. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Harry Potter Wizards Unite on the phone, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then the big game for me this week is I finally got to jump into Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Oh, that's right. You
how's
did
that?
that on your stream today, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to lay it on us.
I went into it. I'm a Wolfenstein fan. I didn't play 3D, but you know, Wolfenstein and the New Order and the New Colossus and all that I've played.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan. I love the action. I love the humor. I've often struggled with the boss battles, but
Okay.
I always push through, and it never, even though in the moment I'm like, oh, this is too tough. When it's all said and done, I had a good time, and I recommend the games. And went into this one with everyone in my ear saying, this game is horrible.
Yeah. I was one of them that asked ahead of time when you said you were going to play it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you know, this game, it's full of it's one of the complaints, and I it's the only complaint I can't answer to because I don't know enough about it, was it's too much like Destiny 2 or Destiny.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah. One of the complaints was, you know, of course, microtransactions.
Yeah.
You know,
That's always going to be a complaint.
Exactly. As I play the game, I'm having a blast.
Yay!
Nice.
That's
There you
what I
go.
was hoping was coming.
Critics be darned.
I feel like I can genuinely rebut, except for the Destiny comparison, every complaint I've heard about it.
Okay.
Nice.
And even over the last 2 days in the stream, I was asking the viewers, if you've played Destiny, why is it being compared to it? And people were like, I have no idea. No idea.
Really?
Someone said it looks too much like the design looks too much like Dishonored.
You said,
Well,
I
went
said Destiny.
What's wrong with that?
Exactly. Well, and I went into one city and I'm like, wow, this kind of looks like Dishonored, but I wasn't angry about it. And then I looked at the credits. There are 3 art directors. 2 of them have worked on Dishonored, so maybe their style is going to be the same. You know,
Right.
maybe they have a style. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
it wasn't enough to ruin the game for me. The microtransactions, anyone that complains about that, it's like complaining about microtransactions in Overwatch. They're there if you want them. They don't affect the gameplay. It's all
Okay.
cosmetic.
Okay.
As you go through the game, you are finding coins and looting coins all over the place. They're so generous with coins. So if you want to
That's
upgrade
cool.
your weapons or your person, have at it. You can do that. And another one of the complaints I'd heard was, you know, they give you a mission, you go do it, and then you come back and get another mission. And I'm like, that's a video game.
That's right. You want it to be over and then complain that it's the Order 1886?
Yeah, it was just, you know, one of the, you know, it's not a huge map. You go back to the same area multiple times. That's a video game.
Lord
know,
have mercy.
And also, it wasn't a $60 game. It's a $30 game.
Yep.
And so I didn't go into it expecting a full-blown, you know, massive undertaking. Now, that being said, I've played for 6.5, nearly 7 hours. I have yet to go to the same place twice. I do have missions that say I'm going to go to the same place twice. I haven't done them yet, but each map is a huge map, and I am having a blast.
Ed, what do you think it is why do you think people are picking on this game?
Well, one other thing that I had heard that I don't know if I just missed it, but I don't think you mentioned it. And I didn't play the other Wolfenstein reboot games, so maybe you can touch on this, because what I'm about to say, you could almost use "it's a video game" line yet again. But
Right.
one of the things that I had heard is that in the first 2 Wolfensteins, or maybe it was one Wolfenstein and then like a DLC or something like that, is that they kind of made it obviously it's got its, you know, you're shooting mecha Nazis and all that kinds of crazy stuff. But they said that
Right.
a lot of the dialogue and the writing was very like kind of I don't know if down to earth is the right way to put it, but it was like gritty and kind of had emotion to it. Whereas I have heard that the dialogue specifically between the sisters is very campy and goofy and silly and just detracts from the way that the other games were done. Is that something that is like
no? I
feel?
mean, because Wolfenstein has a tendency to be campy and silly.
Okay.
And at the same time, the two main protagonists, the sisters, they are teenage girls.
Yeah.
And so if you get two teenage girls who are super hyped about going to kill Nazis, they're going to say, hey, dude, good job. You know, they're going to. So that doesn't.
And they're sisters.
Yeah. So to me, it totally.
If you're going to be campy with somebody.
Yeah. It totally lines up to me. Nothing stands out as odd or weird. Okay. There, you know, as much as we have our nieces come over, teenage girls can be goofy and they can be stupid. And they can laugh about nonsense, you know, especially if it's after 11 p.m. If you get two teenage girls who love to kill Nazis, they're going to be stupid and goofy and silly about other things.
Yep.
So it doesn't bother me. I mean, to me, it kind of solidifies that they are sisters because they can call each other dude or nicknames. And that hasn't detracted from the game to me nearly as much. Like any Wolfenstein game, there's a cutscene before a big mission and then they go in. Kind of the same thing here. It's not as story heavy. It's more about the gameplay, but at the same time, it's not a full-on $60 game either. So if it's got a little less cutscene and that kind of material in it, I'm not bothered because I'm having so much fun playing. So yeah, I honestly, I don't understand why people were so down on the game. Going into it, I kind of was hoping for kind of a mini Wolfenstein game, kind of like how the Lost Legend was sort of a mini Uncharted. You know, the I forget what the name of the Dishonored game was. That was kind of like the mini Dishonored. So yeah, I'm having a blast. So I've been pleasantly surprised because my expectations were so low.
Right,
so
of course,
if you've been hesitant to get it, I would encourage you to grab it. If you're a Wolfenstein fan, especially, I haven't been able to try the co-op gameplay yet, so I can't speak to how that works or feels. But the sister, if you're playing single person, it's one of the best AI partners you could ask for. They do a great job getting your back. If you're down, they are on you immediately, reviving you. It's really. I'm having a great time.
See,
nice.
Yeah,
that's great, man.
That's where you say, hate the players, don't hate the game. All right.
That's right.
So yeah, it was a good week.
There you go,
Yeah.
Tim.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with you, man?
Man, it's been there's a lot going on this past week. Pepper got fixed on Friday, and so she's now wearing the cone of shame, which is just awesome. And
Yeah,
I'm kind of secretly loving it. Like, yeah, there you go, buddy. Nice try. And then she decides to go ahead and pee on the couch yesterday. So I'm like, okay, and we're back to square one.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, I'll show you. Here you go.
Yeah.
But that actually does happen when girls get fixed, especially they sometimes have little accidents, and so she did, and
Yep.
you know, that's how it goes. But she got fixed, so she's healing up nicely. Everything's good there. Soccer has started for Piper. We had our first practice yesterday,
man.
which I had to coach because the actual coach was out of town on business. But it was so hot like yesterday, so we kept it to like 45 minutes. And our first game is on the 17th of August, so we'll see how all this goes. But I'm excited. Piper's been great. Oh yeah, I'm thrilled. No, it is fun because, like I've said before, this is our 5th season with most of the same girls and their families. So it's like a nice get together when we all get together. We get to see, and I get to have conversations with the parents, and it's nice. So everyone's so cool. So that's been great. Man, school starts for Piper this Friday, half day, which I think is terrible. But
yeah, why even do that?
I know it makes no sense, but she's going into 2nd grade. We met her teacher this evening. They had an open house, and so we got to go in, and it was nice because Piper got to see a bunch of her friends that she hadn't seen all summer. Her old kindergarten teacher, who we love, she got to go see her, and she met her teacher, and so it was nice. It's a nice little back to school moment for them, and some of her classmates from 1st grade are going to be in her class again with 2nd grade, which is great. So it's not like she's going in, she has no friends there. So on the blood blister foot by my dear brother-in-law Keith. He's still healing. He was supposed to go in for surgery this past week, but his foot, the doctor said, man, it needs to heal more. It's still just really kind of gross. So it needs to just keep healing. And so, of course, he's going nuts. He just wants to get this over with. So he goes back to the doctor tomorrow to see when he's going to have his surgery. So we've been going down there, giving him some love, bringing some food, and just been able to hang out with him. And he's just sitting there hanging out. And so he's ready for this to be done. Let's see what else. This weekend, Lauren is heading up to New York for the gift show. So I will be single fathering it for a few days. So Piper and I have decided to call this weekend Danger Camp because we're going to do a bunch of stuff that mommy doesn't usually allow us to do or approve of.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Like what?
Like,
let's get into some crack.
right, trampoline, black tar heroin, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
man.
So,
Yeah.
Trampoline.
yeah, we usually go to Above All, and
Okay.
we'll probably just try and do some fun stuff. Not that mommy doesn't do fun stuff with her either, but it's just I kind of like single fathering it sometimes because we just get to do whatever and it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, adventure camp.
My
I
dad
that.
was like that too. When he would come get us, he'd be like, "This is a cigar," and we were like, "Oh snap!"
Yeah, we might do some wine tasting this weekend. We'll see. We'll see how the weekend goes.
See how she's
Some
acting.
beer, well, at least beer. Let's get her on beer first. Let's start with that. But no, it's fun. We'll have a good time, and yeah. So that's been going on. On the gaming front, I have finished the story of Spider-Man, and I have to say, fan-freaking-tastic. What
Nice.
a great story. Oh, that was so good the whole way through. And I loved it. The acting was great. And just all the little twists and turns were perfect. And it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I am still working on the platinum. I kind of held off on completing some of the districts just to wait for the platinum to see. There's still like a few hidden trophies that I haven't hit yet. So I need to kind of go back and see, but I've been collecting all of my resource stuff and all that stuff so I can buy the suits and do all that fun stuff. And man, it's just, it's so great. What a great game.
Did you get the DLC?
I have not. No, I did
Okay.
not get the DLC. I probably should though, right? So, because it's,
I mean,
yeah,
if you're
man.
going to do it now while you still know all the controls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amen to
There is,
that.
man. Yeah, there is a lot of combat. I kind of took I was listening to you guys when you were talking about it. You guys had like your, the key moves that you usually do, and you kind of stuck with them. And that's exactly what I did too. I had a couple moves that was the one I was the most comfortable with. But then when you have to do these, these little challenges, you kind of have to switch it up a little bit, and that's how you gain more of the resources. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll be working on. So I don't think I have that much of a grind because I did a lot of grinding as I went along, because the completionist in me was like, oh, let's got this district, let's do everything that's unlocked here and then keep moving from there. So man, it was great. And what's funny, like they had New York City just down. It was just awesome. Like even just going everywhere, I'm like, yep, that's where that is, and that's where that is. And I was like, oh, so good. They did so great. So I was Insomniac, well done. So it was great. I've been doing definitely some Overwatch and getting my loot boxes. And Lem, you are rubbing off on me, brother, because I'm actually enjoying Mystery Heroes.
I
Is that
couldn't
weird to
believe
say?
that when you
I
said that
know.
tonight. You're like, want to try Mystery Heroes?
Well, thank God. I thought you were going to say you were taking pictures. I was like, oh, Lord.
No. I'm not taking pictures.
know,
I'm not
right?
that good, man. No.
Man, I've been getting
Everybody,
into some gametography.
calm
I was like,
down.
oh, we've lost him.
Calm down. No, I'm not going down that rabbit hole. That is for sure. But Mystery Heroes used to be the bane of my existence, but now it's just like, you know what? Now that I'm kind of, getting more and more and learning more about each hero, I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So it's been fun. I had a great time with you, Ed. Thank you this evening. That was a lot of fun. Man, Lem, congrats. You're rubbing off on me. Let's hit up some Mystery Heroes together, because it used to be when Lem was on, I'm like, nope, not going to do it because I know exactly what he's going for.
Yep.
But
I mean, next thing you're going to be doing these custom games, and you're going to be doing like flying in the air, and you hit your ult in every 3 seconds, and then you're shooting all
Yep.
rockets out of your toenails, and it's going to be
great.
crazy.
Can't wait. Rockets out of the toenails. That's how it goes. But yeah,
Lord
so
have mercy.
that and continuing, I kind of gone back to Clash Royale. I kind of took a breather on Hearthstone for a little bit. The new expansion pack came out, so I'm slowly but surely working on some of that. But man, the Clash Royale just keeps going. It's one of those games where, man, I like went from losing 8 in a row, and then next day you come back, you win like 10, and it just fluctuates. It's crazy, and you just get so obsessed. You're like, oh, I got to keep going. But it's such a great game, and that is it for me.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Release McCracken.
Yeah. So this past weekend, Stacey and I decided to take another kind of a mini vacation. We had some friends of ours from Oklahoma that were going to be down in San Antonio, Texas. Our friend Steve was doing like a convention for work that they sent him down there, and so his family went to just spend some time. And then it was ending this last Friday, and so we were like, all right, well let's go down there, meet, and kind of hang out the weekend with them. And there's a water park that's down in a northern part of San Antonio, kind of suburb called Schlitterbahn, and it's known as, supposedly, according to them, one of the best rated water parks, yada, yada, yada. But it is really popular in Texas. A lot of people have been there. It's a really large water park, and I had actually never been there before. Of course, Stacey had never been there, and they had never been there before. So we decided, okay, we're going to go down there. We're going to check out this water park. And then Stacey had the amazing idea, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being truthful with that, to bring our 2 little nephews, because we've never taken them like just on a trip like that with just
Great
Uncle
idea.
Chris and Aunt Stacy. So we got my little nephew Tristan and my little nephew Landon, and we took them down there with us. We picked them up on Thursday. They stayed the night at our house. We went swimming at our neighbor's house because our neighbors are really awesome. And they're just like, yeah, anytime you want to use a pool, come on over, kind of thing. So we went over there and swam with them then. And then we got up bright and early on Friday and drove down to San Antonio. Along the way, we stopped and we went to check out some caverns and stuff, and some other different kind of little things along the way. And then on Saturday we got up and we went to Schlitterbahn, excuse me, and we were there all day. And yes, now what I will say is this: I mean, it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we got to go check it out, and we only got to see one section of the park. Really, it's so big that it's like there's no way we can do it all, kind of a thing. I don't know that I'd drive another 6 hours just to go there, but it was nice to be there. Yeah, to go and check it out.
They have a wave pool there, right?
They have a couple different ones, depending on which section of the park that you're in.
You can actually surf in those wave pools, can't you?
I don't think you can surf in the wave pool, but they do have like boogie board surf walls where you go and like the water's going and you can like, if you know what the heck you're doing, you got these kids doing all these tricks and turning around and flipping and like all whatnot. Cool. And it's like, I went ahead and gave it a shot. It's like, I'm just glad I stayed on the thing. It didn't fall off, but no, I couldn't do any of the tricks.
Nice.
But that's awesome. It was a lot of fun being able to go down there and take them to a place that they'd never been before and get to spend some time. Because I have this, you can call it a running joke, but I've said all the time, I would call myself the favorite uncle. And I was like, it's about time we do something that like really
solidifies that.
Ratchets up this whole favorite uncle thing. Yeah, like the other uncles haven't taken you to New Braunfels. What's up? We're going to Schlitterbahn.
That's awesome.
So it was a really, really good time. And then as it just so happened, because we were in San Antonio and we're heading home on Sunday, when you're going home from San Antonio, you got to go through Austin. And guess who's in Austin?
What?
Mr. Gabriel.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's out there with the Toby Mac at a festival at this HEB center. And so we didn't have like a lot of time. We just had kind of like a small window during the middle of the day, but we were able to swing by, pick him up.
Dude,
go to a lunch spot. It was closed. Go to another lunch spot. Turns out it's in a gas station. And then go to another lunch spot, and that's where we actually ate.
Nice.
And by the way, those first 2 screw-ups are all because Chris was doing the yelping and not Stacey. So that's why they did not turn out to. But that first place sounded like it was going to be awesome. So I was actually really bummed when it turned out that we're not open Sundays, because I neglected to look at that part of the Yelp reviews.
Dude, you would have had me at gas station though, man. That would have been good.
That's where the kids wanted to go.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, it's a gas station. I was like, oh, it's a gas station.
Exactly.
I love that they were excited.
Don't sleep on that, man. Sometimes those gas station places are amazing.
They were excited about the goofiest stuff. So we ended up at this, I guess it was Tex-Mex-ish kind of food, right? Is that what you would say? Yeah, but we went there basic kind of for breakfast. Or we were having breakfast because they were still serving it. And my little nephew, God bless him, they started eating lemons and just, having issues with that. And then my other little nephew decided he wanted to eat some jalapenos that my aunt or his Aunt Stacy told him was hot. And he just turned so red.
Gosh.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like me and Gabe just had to start cracking up at these kids.
Chris, I got to say, I'm not a huge fan of kids, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've laughed that hard at a lunch in a long time.
It was so
Like
funny.
between both of them, we were cracking up a lot during that lunch.
Yeah.
And not like that annoyed laugh, like, no,
Yeah,
right, shut up.
exactly.
wasn't
Like,
like that.
you little kid. Huh?
No, we were
Right.
like tears forming laughter. It was so funny.
That's,
That's
funny.
awesome.
It was a
Yeah.
great time.
It was a lot of fun. And then we got them home on Sunday. Said our farewells until the next time we get to hang out and everything. Let them know with their parents and like, hey, they're great kids. We had such a
Oh,
blast
that's
with
awesome.
them, and
That's great,
I'm
man.
looking for. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I'm definitely looking forward to whatever the next time that we're gonna be able to take them and go do something.
Make sure I'm in
around
town.
town. Yeah, yeah,
right.
exactly. I'm gonna say like, what else can we get them to eat?
Yeah,
We'll get that
exactly.
figured out.
Yeah.
On the gaming front, while I was gone, I did take the Vita and I did load
nice.
Metal Gear Solid on there. So I was basically just whenever I had a little bit of free time late in the evenings, I played a little bit of Metal Gear. I'm about quarter of the way through the first act or so. So just kind of slowly moving on my way through that. Still enjoying it like I always have. And then once we got back in town and in amongst all the other stuff going on this week, I have gotten in a little bit more Apex. I wanted to jump in tonight, Ed, when you gave the call out for the Overwatch thing, but I had some other things I was figuring out right up until pretty much the show went. So
Oh, right on.
I ended up running out of time, but definitely is going to jump in the next time that I see you put a call out because I got to jump in and give me some Overwatch.
Mhm.
Right?
And that's pretty much it on the gaming front. Haven't even jumped into Hearthstone really this past week, so I'm feeling a little like, man, I need to get my Hearthstone fix, but
Yeah,
sure
you
that'll
do.
come in the coming week.
Nice.
Chris, I gotta say too,
Yes.
something happened during Apex, which has never happened to me and Chris before. Usually, what happens is me and the other person die, and Chris drags us across the finish line.
Yeah.
This time, I don't even know why we stayed around, but we were playing with a third, and me and Chris go down, and this rando
Nice.
really drags us across the finish line. And, we were
Yeah.
like- and it was really awesome to watch.
That's awesome.
And to their credit, like they were trying to get to us, but we just happened to get caught in a crossfire fight in an area where we both go down. He's able to finish the last one, but then the circle's coming, and this is starting to be the hurty circle, not the first
Yeah,
one where
yeah,
you can
where it
kind of
hurts you
like,
real
it ain't
bad."
that bad.
Yeah.
So he just had to go, and we were like, well, let's just see what happens. And at least that's how I took it in my head. I was like, I'm just going to see what happens. And then when he keeps doing well, it's like, oh, well, no reason to leave. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And-
he definitely did. He finished it out all on his own
Nice.
or
we, got,
her own.
we got the win. It was awesome.
Yep. It was
That's
great.
great.
A lot of fun.
There you go.
All right, Mr. Patillo, what you got?
Man, I mean, first half, like Chris said, man, was down in Texas, and it just so it was so serendipitous that he was driving straight through Austin, and we got to have lunch together. It was so great. Good seeing Stacy. I was a little mad I didn't get to ride the Tesla, but that's okay.
Right?
But yeah, same as Tim too, man. Amara and Remy start school this Friday, so fingers crossed that he doesn't burn it down on the half day. And I'm a little disappointed. I'm going to Clarksburg, West Virginia, and then Lewisburg, West Virginia this weekend.
I'd
And
be disappointed too.
Yeah. I don't know. You went there on purpose. I'm getting paid to go.
Oh,
Ooh, touche. Well played, sir.
no, I'm jealous.
Right?
So I'm gonna miss Remy's first day of school. So I'm a little
Oh.
sad about that. It is the half day, and I'll be back, next Monday for his first full day. But I'm a little sad that I don't get to see little man take off for school on his first day. But
Man, he's in kindergarten?
pre-K.
Oh, pre-K. Okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
4
holy
years
cow.
old. Yeah,
Boy,
4.
grew
Yep.
up
I know,
fast.
right? So that's gonna be crazy. We were in Texas all weekend. It seems like anytime we go to Texas, we do 3 or 4 shows there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it was hot, but here's the blessing is that the second 2 shows, because festivals are always outside, right? So you just get
Right.
used to it's summertime, festivals outside. The last 2 festivals, Hidalgo, Texas, and Austin, were both indoors.
Oh,
And I was
nice.
praising the Lord. It was
That's
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's God going, you know what? You're going to get a little break.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the party going. And so, so that was great. Been playing on the road a lot of Octopath Traveler.
Oh, how is it?
So here's the thing.
Yeah, here we go.
You guys know how I feel about those 8 and 16 bit-ish type
Yes.
games. I don't really like them. I fell in love with Golf Story after a little while. But this is what I decided about this one, and this is, I don't know if this is my age showing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'm feeling JRPGs anymore.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Well, because they have the license to get really silly and like the story to just kind of drag on and stuff like that, and they don't kind of like, and this one does dangle the carrot. So how this one's set up is, it's called Octopath because I think there's 8 characters that you can end up playing as, and you start as one and you kind of like join up with the other 7 as you go, and they each have their own individual story they're doing. And then once you kind of going through and you collect them, then you kind of have leveled up enough to go do their chapter 2 wherever they were headed on the map. And so you're kind of like wandering around trying to level up, and you're kind of meeting these people as you go. The problem with it being 16-bit or whatever bit you would call that is it leaves a lot to the imagination. And so I think that I've gotten so spoiled in gaming that, with things like The Last of Us, now obviously there's a huge graphical difference between the 2 games, but because of that, you don't really have to use your imagination that much. So when they say there's a huge snake over here and you got to fight this huge snake, and then it shows up, you're like, I guess I got to use my imagination that's a huge snake. You know what I mean? Because it kind of just looks like an SNES snake. And you're like, all right, okay, we'll just believe that it's big. And I'm not super excited about that. I'm getting through it. It's not terrible. I did turn the voiceover off, as I talked about last week. Some people said, yes, turn the English off. It's terrible. Turn on the Japanese, but make sure you listen to the music. But I kind of play around people so much that I usually never have the sound on anyway. So people say the score is amazing, and I'll just trust them on that for now.
There you go.
And then so I'm getting through it. I'm just not ecstatic about it. And somebody put on Twitter that it's a grind, and so that's not something I'm looking forward to. But I heard it was awesome, so I'm just kind of like, kind of like with Zelda. I'm just kind of playing it, and I did fall in love with Zelda at the end.
Yeah.
And it was my game of the year that year, when I just would never have thought that would have been the case. And so, I'm trying to just like give it the good old college try. I'm probably 8 to 11-ish hours into it, which is nothing for a JRPG. And so, I'm just kind of, this is going to lead into the question of the week this week. And this is not my answer yet. But yeah, right now I'm just kind of like going through the motions.
You're waiting for it to become awesome is what you're doing right now, right?
It's not even so much that, but you ever have a moment in your relationships, whether it's a girlfriend or a wife, and you kind of look up and you're like, oh, we just been kind of like doing life for the last 3 weeks. Like, let's go on a date or something like that. Where, and you got to get that reignition for, not really like you were going to leave or anything, but like, just that little spark want to put back in it. So I'm just looking for the spark. I'm not necessarily looking for it to be awesome, because I don't plan on that happening. But I am just looking for that spark that's like, you like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense whatsoever?
Absolutely, man. That's how I felt about Tomb Raider. I was like, okay, it's gonna get good, right? Okay. It's like, I'm waiting for that awesome moment. And it just, I was like, hopefully it'll come then.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't come, sometimes it does. We'll see what happens. So but besides that, Clash Royale, I said I wasn't gonna pay for the other $5 for the next season. And I totally
did too, brother.
did. Yeah.
I did too. I saw it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? But it's the same thing. Yeah, you got to throw him a bone. I've been playing this game for 4 years. We're going to do it.
Yeah. Exactly. And so I'm like, I'll probably pay up to a point where I'm like, all right, I've sunk $40 into this game. Maybe it's time to stop. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So life is good. Everybody's healthy. We're moving along over here. So
nice.
Man. We're going to keep her moving. Tim, you got it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. Well, let's do it!
This is going to be super short, sweet, and to the point. We got 3 new releases. Age of Wonders Planetfall for the PC, PS4, and Xbox. We got Metal Wolf Chaos XD for the PC, PS4, and Xbox. And we got Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition for the Switch.
Huh.
Back to you, gents.
Fatal Bullet Complete. All right.
There's always a complete edition every
Yeah.
week. There's some sort of a complete
I know.
edition, which we never knew there was a half edition of any of these.
Exactly.
I know. I hate when I accidentally get the incomplete edition.
I know.
I know. That's called. Yeah. That's called.
And you pay full price.
And you pay.
Yeah, that's called
right?
getting it day one and getting that a big old patch.
That's exactly right.
You're like 20 gigs. What did they not put in this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, this is going to be the calm before the storm, because I know we're going to start seeing some more games coming up soon.
That's right. The
but-
fall, baby.
Yeah, this is usually a pretty light period right around here. So yeah, there
Is
you have it.
Gamescom coming up? I feel like that's coming up soon.
It is.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's
the-
usually in late October, isn't it? Something like that. Or, I mean August, not October. Excuse me.
August
Yeah.
20th to the 24th.
There you go.
October is the
Oh.
Paris one, right?
Yeah, usually.
Paris Game Show.
Paris
Well,
Game Show?
Gamescom has stepped it up for the last couple of years, so that's something exciting to be looking forward to at least this month too.
I know. New look at Death Stranding, Chris.
Yep.
That's right. That's right.
Let's go.
Hopefully,
Come
we
on,
can
let's
get
go.
get
Road
a
trip it.
demo drop up in this piece.
Right.
Your boy love a demo.
Hey, you know your boy love a demo. And they did say that I think it's at Gamescom again that people are going to be getting their hands on Final Fantasy VII again as well. So
Oh, nice.
excited
yeah.
to hear what people say about that. Chris, what you got, bruv?
All right, so I want to start with a story that this came out the day that. So last week we recorded a morning show, if I remember right.
Yep.
And so this came out that same day later in the day. So it's a little bit on the older side, but I still wanted to kind of touch on it. And it's regarding the Nintendo Switch and the upcoming Light Switch, I assume, as well. And it's about Andrew Wilson made some comments, and he is the head of Electronic Arts, basically talking about why few, if any, of the EA games actually make their way to the Switch.
Yep.
And so he had a few quotes, and he said, quote, anytime that we're evaluating a platform, conversations, we are really looking at a couple of things. One, does the game really fit the profile of that platform in terms of control and the community ecosystem? And two, do we think that the community playing on that platform would appreciate the game to go there, or would they rather play it somewhere else? Wilson said that EA data shows that, quote, a great many of Switch owners also own an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 or a PC, and very often choose to play the games we make on those platforms, even though they have a Switch. So, as you
I
might
didn't like that
imagine,
answer, by the way.
this ruffled a lot of Switch player feathers because they're part of the people that have been saying, like, yo, EA, what's up? Why don't you put in games like The Sims and other things here on the Switch? There's one very giant flaw I feel like I see easily in his comments here, and that's they probably prefer to play those games on those platforms because they only exist on those platforms.
Hello. Hello.
So if you don't make it for the Switch, then it's not going to sell on the Switch. And not only that, like really one of the few games that they did make that's a popular EA game that they did make a Switch version for was FIFA. And I don't remember which version. It may have even been, was it 19? Yeah. But it's universally known as like not only the worst looking version of the game, but I think there's features, if I remember right, that have been removed from it. So it's like a gimped version of it,
I think they announced some features were coming that weren't actually coming.
Right.
Okay.
So that's always good.
So if they're pointing to like, well, see, FIFA sells great on all these platforms, but it didn't feel great on this. Well, you sold a gimped version of it.
What a terrible game. Excuse me. But like FIFA to me is always like, the graphics are always really good. The gameplay is always amazing. It's kind of almost like taking your most beautiful game and saying, well, see, people didn't like that on the Switch. And you're like, it's your most beautiful game though. Like you know, a lot of people, and I saw in the story them talking about The Sims. I'm like, The Sims is perfect. Maybe you chose the wrong games.
Yeah.
Not that Switch, you know, you did one or two and Switch owners are playing it on other things. Here's my other thing with him. How many of us, just in this group, I know I'm the cheap one. How many of us have bought a game on two different consoles? I have.
Yes.
Ed?
Yep.
Tim?
Actually, no, I don't think I have.
Rocket League?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, nice try.
No.
But my whole point is like buying a game twice is not super rare. That's 3 out of the 4 of us. And I don't usually do that kind of thing. But
Yeah, I don't do it often, but I have done it.
I did do Last of Us from PS3 to PS4, the remastered.
I did that too, and I haven't even played the remastered. I don't think I even installed it. It was just because I love the game so much, and it was cheap, and so I bought it. And so my whole problem is, unless it's incredibly expensive, I don't know how many units. What I wonder is how many units sold are worth them doing it. So you know that there's 30 million Switches out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a game like The Sims, which would go perfectly on, I've mentioned this before.
Yes,
the Switch is where I want to play everything, but The Sims would be with the touchscreen and everything. Like it'd be the perfect place to put it.
It really would.
Isn't it on the iPad?
Mm-hmm. I think there's at least a version of it. Yeah.
Right. And so I just wonder why. I just thought what it sounded like to me is just like, we don't want to say we just don't want to support the Switch. So we have to come up with some kind of thing, whether they say it's the data or whatever. We see that most people like playing FIFA on PS4 and Xbox One instead of on the Switch. And you're like Chris said, you're like, yeah, but it's ugly. It's going to be ugly over there. Mm-hmm. I did not like that reasoning at all.
The only other thing that I can think is that maybe I am not a developer, so I do not know the answer to this question. I'm just trying to play a slight bit of devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Maybe many of EA's games, like their sports games, kind of indicative of how bad the Switch version of FIFA was, and maybe even games like The Sims are technically more complicated on the back end than they may seem that they're going to be. It could be possible that, man, we're going to have to put in so much extra work to optimize this for the Switch since it's lower power that it's just not worth it to us. But if that truly is the case, just say that. Be like, look, we would love to support this great piece of hardware, but it's just not powerful enough. And let people pick that apart, but at least then you're giving reasons that's like, okay, you've got to prove that I'm wrong, rather than it just be this weird thing that's easy to poke holes in and drain all the water out.
Yes.
I mean,
I
and I don't know that that's the case, but that's the only other thing. It's like, dude, if that's your reasoning, your legit reasoning, just say it and lie on that bed.
And we got to imagine, though, that like something like The Sims 4 is not that technologically advanced. Like Sims 4 has been out for forever, it feels like. Like it seems like even when it first came out, it would have been. And I bet you that if you put any of the Sims games on the Switch, it would sell. If you put Burnout on the Switch, it would sell. If you put Plants vs. Zombies on the Switch, it would sell. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's so many things they could put over there. Now, I want Apex over there. I don't think it'll ever come, especially after these comments. However, Fortnite's over there. And so you're like, sheesh, like it makes it look like you can do something. Yes, the draw distance might not be as far. Yes, some other things, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not expecting the Anthem to be over there or Battlefield to be over there. But I don't think anybody's expecting all that to be over there. But I think they did put like Wolfenstein New Order over there. And so you just wonder like where really is the hang?
And I think a version of Doom was on there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Diablo 3, which I know is, a little different, also been out for a long time. But it just seems like there's something else, like they just don't like the Switch or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not buttons. We have all the buttons. It's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. They have the Pro controller. I don't know. You can hook up I used I got a present, the 8BitDo controllers. Like you can Bluetooth those to the Switch. And so like, the button mapping and stuff like that is not an issue. I just didn't like it. I don't like that excuse.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. It's an excuse.
Yeah. I'm the only one with the Switch here, but and maybe they're thinking with the light version coming out, even it's going to be even worse. But I don't. And we know, we joke about it, but we know it's not as easy as Control Save as in SW.
Right.
But I don't know, man. It just felt like they just don't want to. Like I'd almost rather him say that than say something really long that sounds like we just don't want to.
Yeah. But see, that's kind of going back to what you were saying earlier. It's hard to believe that the answer is we just don't want to when the potential for the money you could make is there,
But that's what I'm wondering.
The only thing that makes me lean to like, there's got to be some other reason he's just scared to say that other reason because he thinks that's going to get more hot water than what he did say.
Yeah, I just wonder what. Yeah,
I have no idea.
I know it just seems like there's some things that I don't know, man.
It just sounds like we don't wanna.
It definitely sounds like we don't wanna. I just
it really does.
And I know he doesn't want to ruffle Nintendo's feathers. You know what I'm saying either. But I would think this would do that as well.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, and like Rocket League's over there, and even with crossplay, I think. And so, I don't know, man. I didn't like it. Some other big gaming news I thought that came out this week was that old Ninja.
Yeah.
Jumping off of Twitch and heading to Mixer. That was he made a big deal of it, and it is a big deal.
It really is.
Yes.
Going from, what is it, Amazon? Does Amazon own Twitch?
Yes.
Over to Microsoft, who owns Mixer. What I didn't know was I didn't realize that Mixer was Beam.
Yes.
Beam, the company that Casey Neistat, I think, helped start and all that, and then sold, and then they bought it and then tried to run with it for like a year, but then the name didn't really stick, so they switched it to Mixer and switched up everything that could happen with it. Man, oh man.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a big blow to Twitch more than it's a huge win for Microsoft and Mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed, you are our lone Twitch streamer. Ed streams every day, just in case anybody was wondering, from Central Time, 12 to 4-ish. Yeah. And so what did you think about this, Ed? You're our Twitch guy.
I mean, really, all I could think was, wow, that guy is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
As
if he didn't already.
Well, it couldn't have looked more like a business decision, right?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, to be like, yeah, I'm only going to be here now. And good on him. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
He deserved it. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it was cool to see. I mean, it definitely put, when I went over to my brother's for my niece's birthday party, two of the guys that were there that are not gamers and know nothing about it, two of them came up to me and said, "Wow, I heard that news about that guy," and it definitely put streaming into the conversation, the mainstream conversation for a little bit at least.
Yeah, it was on ESPN even. They covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, good on him. And like you say, Gabe, I don't know that I didn't watch him anyhow, so it didn't make me want to jump ship by any means.
Yeah.
I'm kind of where I am because it's where I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like the whole HelloFresh Blue Apron. They both do a good job at what they do.
Yeah.
I don't hate either one.
That's a good comparison. I like that.
Yeah. I do one, people do the other, and I got no beef with either one. So, but yeah, it was, it just made me think, wow, what do they have planned for Halo coming out? Like it's just, there's just so many opportunities and options that they are really planning to release this new Xbox. They're going all in.
Yeah.
Kind of your point, Ed, what you were saying earlier, like, well, I'm happy where I am and I am where I am because that's where I am, kind of thing. I dabble with the streaming here and there and whatnot. Clearly, I'm nowhere near Ed's level or definitely not Ninja's or anybody else's like that. So I don't have anything really established like a following base necessarily and all this stuff. So I actually was thinking here recently, I was like, as little as last month in June, I was like, maybe I should just move over and do things on Mixer, just switch things up, be weird, because over there their audience is there's not as many people on Mixer. There'd be less competition if I'm deciding to kind of push a little bit more. I was like, man, I should totally do that. And then this news drops. First thing I thought, I was like, doggone it! Now it's gonna look like I'm just going over there because Ninja's there.
That's true.
So now I can't do it.
Yeah. That's for
Dang
sure.
it.
I have a question for you guys. Do you guys care, especially when it's not a subscription-based service? Do you guys care where you intake something?
No. I guess it depends on what the thing is, but when it comes to streaming, because I have a couple people I watch on Mixer, and I clearly have a lot of different people that I will check in on Twitch. But at the end of the day, it's which app do I have to be on? And that one. But once I'm watching, I'm just watching. I don't care. I get rid of the chat and then I just full screen it and then I'm good.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I felt too. I didn't know if people felt like, say you pay for Hulu and Netflix. Do you care if one thing moves from Hulu to Netflix? You're just glad you still have it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I can still see it, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I would prefer to have as few apps as possible, so
Yeah,
I just
agreed.
don't watch Mixer, you know?
Sure, yeah.
And so, but if someone I really liked went over there, I would probably check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And the thing that made me think about too, and just talking about Microsoft ramping up, we saw Tyler kind of Ninja kind of take a break from Fortnite, which was a huge deal, got a big payday from EA to play Apex to help that ball rolling. And so I thought it might be interesting to see if Microsoft does that same thing. Like, I don't know what his contract says. Obviously, none of us do. Nobody knows how much he got paid. Or if it's like a standard monthly on top of, the things that he might, however you tip people in Mixer. But I wonder if this is going to open him up now and hurt him in the long run if he needs to play some exclusives every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah.
With anybody that's popular, it creates more opportunities for them. And it's probably opportunities like, I kind of can't pass this up. And that's just the nature of it. I feel like that's the nature of this industry now, where we have these influencers and we have all these streamers, and they're going to be popular. They're never going to be like when they first started off, because there's too much opportunity for them now. And you would be foolish to not take advantage of that, because you never know when your 15 minutes of fame is up. So I think he's doing a smart thing. And, he's already established himself. It's not like, he's turning his back on anybody. He's still the same person. He's just on a different platform. And you know what? That's great. Good for him. You know what? He deserves it.
He's navigating uncharted territory. And, there are other streamers that get millions of viewers, but without a doubt, Ninja is the most popular one in and out of gaming. Maybe you saw him on Fallon, or maybe you saw him on CNN, or wherever it was. And so he's kind of trailblazing a path that nobody knows where it could go.
Yeah. My other question for you guys was, so he had done an interview on CNBC, and their big headline was, this 26-year-old makes $500,000 a month playing video games. Which is insane. That's true.
It's insane. That is crazy.
Yeah. And maybe I'm a little sensitive because I follow sports, and the big thing in sports, I feel like right now, especially when it comes to the money, is the players trying to take the money into their own hands, with the holdouts, and I'm not going to play unless I get a new deal, even though they had signed a contract saying they would do, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I was wondering, do you think that Microsoft is going to pay him what he was making, or is it the promise of growth is kind of what they pitched?
No, there's no way it's the promise of growth.
No.
Yeah.
He's making probably more than he ever made. Otherwise, he would have never switched. Yeah. There's no way. They sweetened that honeypot.
Because he's just like, well, I'm going to do it. 14 million. I don't think it was subscribers, but at least followers on Twitch, 14 million. And I think he has the last number I heard, I'm sure it continues to go up, but it was at 500,000. And it's going to, I have no doubt that it could potentially get up to 14 million, especially if everybody that really loved him followed him over there. But it's going to take a while to get there. And I don't think it's like, oh, your growth's going to be even far and beyond what it could have been on Twitch. I think they had to sweeten the deal much more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So if I'm looking at Mixer right, which I don't know how Mixer works, but the number at the top, let's see. So this is like sparks raised. I don't have no idea what that even means or whatever, but it's like 14,300,000, some crazy number. And so, again, I don't really know what that means. His total views are at 6 million right now, which has only been like a week.
That's insane.
Yeah. God. But I just wondered if it's like, hey, we'll provide the money you were making, and that'll taper off as you become more popular on our thing. Because I can't imagine he'd want to take a hit to come over.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He's not taking a hit. He's not even making a lateral move. He's definitely moving forward. And with those kind of views already, I'm sure Microsoft is this is going to be great.
It is Microsoft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, shoot, man. Golly.
Yeah, they're smiling.
The one thing that I wondered, and I don't know, but when you watch like some of those big streamers and, they'll people will subscribe or whatever, or somebody will be like, oh, I just subscribed for another 36 months or something crazy like that. It's like, what if somebody subscribed for like 36 months the day before he announced, and I'm going to Mixer?
Yeah.
Like, does that person get a refund, or is
Can you do that, Ed?
just all Ninja's money now? Or
Can you do it for more than a month at a time?
I mean, I'm assuming that you can, because of when people say those kinds of things. I've never done it, or so I don't know how you do it, but
I think it's just a monthly thing.
yeah, I think it's just they'll say I've been subscribed for this long, and they'll celebrate that in the chat. But I don't know if you can buy a year out.
really.
Yeah.
Then maybe it's just the way they say it. I interpreted it wrong.
Yeah, because like I'll do it on Ed's. Like when I re-up my subscription to his channel to encourage other people, I say, hey, this is my 10-month anniversary or whatever it is. And
Right.
and they'll say, you've been sub for 10 months. But I've never seen a spot where you could pay to do it for longer automatically.
Yeah.
Because remember when the big story was a couple months ago, how he like lost 40,000 subscribers, and everybody was like, how did Ninja lose 40,000? Well, you have to re-up it. If you're not doing the pay automatic one, you have to do it manually. Like I have to resubscribe to
Yeah,
Ed
if you
manually.
use like your free Amazon, it doesn't redo it automatically. Yeah, you've got to go in and do it.
Yeah. So I've never seen where you could just, be in the future with it. But I see what you're saying, even if you did it for a month.
Yeah.
But I know that they kept his channel up for a little bit. I think it's still up. You can still watch all his old videos, and then they're using it to, I think, boost up some other streamers or something like that. And what I really liked about that was that when I saw, at least a week ago when I was looking at this, they were boosting streamers with not that many subscribers off of his channel.
Yeah.
And so, I think that got turned back over to somebody. I don't think he still runs it anymore. So that's
Right.
crazy. Crazy. Yeah, but good for him, man. He's put this whole thing on the map pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been doing it for a long time. So I've been hating seeing the comments where it's like, oh man, he just chasing the money, man. I ain't got blah, blah, I'm trying to blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, listen, he's been doing this for 8 years in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
You just got here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and kind of like how Chris mentioned how he didn't want to make it seem like he went to Mixer just because Ninja did. When Ninja left Twitch, I think a lot of people were like, I'll just step in his slot and make millions, and not realizing, like you're saying, he's been doing this for a while. He didn't make millions on his first weekend.
Yeah, and he's really good at the game he plays. It's not like he's just, on there being dopey.
Yeah, he's not a
Right.
scrub at all.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
even kind of. What else you got, Chris?
So we've got some more information as far as how the multiplayer is going to work in the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, buddy.
This is a story
Yeah.
from Polygon. So there was a post on the official PlayStation blog that Infinity War revealed more details. They revealed that Modern Warfare will launch with keyboard and mouse support for modern consoles,
Wow.
which is going to be kind of a necessary change considering the fact that this game is going to support cross-platform play on consoles and PC.
Mm-hmm.
To my knowledge, that's the first time that it's ever definitely interplayed with the consoles. I think that crossplay between console and PC has been a thing in the past to some extent.
With Call of Duty?
I thought that it had. Has it not before?
No, I was just making sure that's what you were saying.
I think that it has, but I'm not completely sure. But I think this is definitely the first time that a Call of Duty game has had cross-platform play across all of the different ways that can be played.
And is this the first game to launch with cross-platform play? I don't remember another game launching with it. Well, I thought that was impressive that they're launching with cross-platform
Yeah,
play.
you know, it might be now that you mention it.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that goes for cross-platform between console and PC, for fairness, they're going to do things kind of the way that Fortnite does things, where players who are using a mouse and keyboard should only be matched up with other players that are using the same type of input. So they have different things that are going to detect that, regardless of what their platform is. So if you're using a mouse and keyboard on your PlayStation 4 or your Xbox One, you'll probably get pulled in with other people on those platforms that may be using that. But because that's likely to be a very small number of people doing that, the majority of the people you're against are probably going to be PC players.
Yeah.
So that's something that is going to be different. They're going to be adding in a realistic mode. The developer says that it will strip away the heads-up display, take away the audio and visual cues showed whenever you're hitting a player. And the results is that they say the multiplayer experience is bordering on survival horror. That's how
crazy.
realistic it's going to be. So it definitely seems as though this Call of Duty is definitely living up to the more gritty nature that they said that they're going to have, not just in the campaign side, but also over here on the multiplayer side, as well as introducing these things like the cross-platform play and mouse and keyboard support across all consoles right when it launches, pretty much. So, I mean, Gabe, I know you're a big Call of Duty guy. So, does this kind of talk make you even more excited? Does it make you less excited? Like,
Man,
how are you feeling?
If I could be honest, I think I like the way it's going, but I don't know if I'll go with them.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
want to play, and I don't know if they've touched on this, I forgot, but this one will still have a story or no?
Yes, I believe so. It will have a campaign.
So I will get Call of Duty for the campaign and will probably stay away from multiplayer only because I like, so Call of Duty now has multiplayer where you could just play team deathmatch, all the games, and then they've got hardcore mode, which takes away the heads-up display and all those other things. I like the option. I do, in all fairness, I do play in hardcore mode. But I like having the option of like being lazy and playing with the map and playing with the, the hit detecting markers and stuff like that. So it worries me a little bit that everyone's going to be thrown in the deep end, and I understand they're trying to move in this direction, and like, good on them, they can do what they'd like. But I think I'll definitely stick my toe in the water, but I don't know if it'll draw me in.
Are you referencing the realistic mode?
Well, so I didn't know if realistic mode meant like, because they've been talking so much about how this is going to be geared towards the hardcore gamer. I didn't know if that was going to be like it, or if that's their other name for the hardcore mode, but you'll still have the other way.
Yeah, that's how I'm interpreting it. I guess I don't have a complete answer for you, but my thought is that realistic mode basically would be a substitute for hardcore mode, and they would have even more things in it to make it even more, quote, hardcore or realistic, if you will.
Yeah,
and just what hardcore was in the previous Call of Duties.
I remember seeing a picture on Twitter, and they talked about how you'll be able to really customize your guns with the sights and like have like a crazy amount of additions that you can put on these guns.
Yes.
And then in this story, it talked about how once you add all this, though, it will make the guns more cumbersome to use. So I don't know if that's just in realistic mode as well, or what. There's a lot of things to figure out, but I definitely will be getting Call of Duty, especially for the story, and see what happens. What's going to be interesting is watching console players not have control of their FPS, while PC players will have control of their FPS. Their frames per second. And so that'll be, I wonder how much that will come into play there. I don't know.
I don't think it's going to play. I think the mouse and keyboard part would play much more of a advantage part than the frame rate stuff, considering that in theory, keyboard and mouse should be versus keyboard and mouse regardless of platform. I think there will still be a slight advantage clearly on if you are able to get more frames per second, but I don't think it's going to be drastic enough to where like if that PC player has no skills, they're still going to get outplayed, I would think.
Yeah. I'm glad that, like you said, that they're going to divide the two up, because that would be a bummer, right? I mean, we see people play all kind of first person shooters, and the things you can do with a mouse and keyboard, it's not close to what you can do with a controller.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's really interesting.
It's insane. I'm excited to see kind of like how it all ends up playing out. I think I will be getting the game. I don't know if I'll be getting it right away because I'll be in Death Stranding mode in that time. But I do think I'll get it at some point, and I'll definitely want to see how it all plays out and what it's all about.
Yeah.
There you go. I did want to touch on one other thing. I didn't give you guys a heads up about this one, but
what?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask Chris what he thought about it. Apex solo mode starting next week.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we've talked about Apex a lot. Me and Chris play it a lot, and it's parties of 3. There's no other options besides parties of 3, unless somebody drops out, and then you're mad because now you're by yourself against parties of 3. And they're releasing a solo mode next week. It's a limited time thing, so which I actually really liked that they said that.
Yeah,
because to me it means kind of the sky's the limit. Like, we're not saying, solo's going to be here forever, but it opens up like, okay, duos, okay, bigger squads. But like, I like the limited time thing about it, but I also like dropping in solo knowing I'm solo and everybody else is solo, instead of dropping in solo knowing everybody else is in parties of 3. What do you think about that, Chris? Like, what do you think about the whole solo situation?
I was one of the people that early on when the game dropped and everybody was like, oh man, I wish there was a solos mode. I was like, I just don't really feel like it has a need for it. I actually really enjoy playing it in the squad version of it.
Amen. Me too.
That said, I'm not mad at them doing it. Especially if they feel like it. One thing that I'm curious about is, and I don't think it's been written or mentioned anywhere, the specifics on this aspect, but are they only going to limit it to certain characters? I mean, I would have to think that people who play the game a lot will know, like, oh, this character's not going to perform well in a solo mode versus, another character that has a much more, selfish affecting ult or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys who the character should be that people should play.
I mean, I think you could play
Bangalore. Everybody but Lifeline, it seems like. Almost, and maybe Watson.
Well, but even Lifeline could
too.
be I still think could do really well in solos. It'd be a little bit harder for her ultimate, but her little healing drone and her ability to use like shield regeneration shields much faster, I think she could still play a part. It's just that it's going to be weird because the people who will play like a character like Lifeline, if that's characters available, are going to be the people who are way more confident in their gun skills. Because they're like, I can win the gunfight. I just want to have the ability to shield up faster after the fight and all these other kinds of things. Whereas Bangalore can shoot smoke and her ultimate's very good at like keeping people from advancing on you and all that kind of stuff. Like it's very
Gibraltar
much
is the
get
same
out of
way.
jail. Yeah. And then I think Mirage would be good for solos. Go back and forth. I think Wraith will get picked a lot just because she's the most popular character. I don't really know how. I mean, I guess her phase is pretty good for solos. Her ultimate's kind of useless for solos, really, other than the slight speed boost. I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to jump in and give it a shot, but I'm not one of these people that's like, oh my gosh, yes, it's solos. I've wanted it for so long. I'm just going to be like, well, if it's a huge hit and they keep it around, great for those people who do that. I still feel like the majority of the time I'm going to end up playing in a squad, especially when I'm playing with people that I know. I just have way more fun that way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me too, obviously if you're on there, I want to be playing with you. But when I'm on there, and I can't tell you how infuriating it is to get linked up with two randos that just don't know what they're doing. And so I can see if I just wanted to hop on there for 10 to 30 minutes and play some rounds by myself and knowing everybody's doing that. It's funny because Chris is totally right. Some characters have great escapism and then some don't at all. Like Lifeline just doesn't have an escape, period. And so it will be interesting to see who kind of rises to the top when it comes to playing by yourself, because Lifeline really lends herself well to being in a group of people because she can revive people faster. Her alt drop, helps people with their shields and things that can be, gathered from that. So it'll be interesting to see.
For sure.
Eduardo.
Yes, sir.
What you got for us, brethren?
Well, over on the Married to the Games YouTube channel, we've got Borderlands 2 Part 8, the ending. Wrap that up.
Yeah.
And, that's a lot of fun. And we've got 2 parts of Wolfenstein Youngblood, about 6 hours worth. You can check it out and see for yourself. What do you think of the game? And if you wanna grab it, then grab it. And if you don't, there's something else out there for you. I promise.
I promise.
Just as predicted, after we finished recording our morning show, PlayStation announced their PS Plus games for the month of August.
Yeah, they did.
So Wipeout Omega Collection, which includes Wipeout 2048, Wipeout HD, and the HD Fury expansion, and Sniper Elite 4, which I'm a big fan of the Sniper Elite series. So
that's right.
Just at least grab them. You don't have to
put
download
them in your library.
Just add them to your library. I don't know how many times I've regretted not doing that. So now I grab everything, and at some point you'll want to play that. Game Pass added the Bard's Tale trilogy and the Bard's Tale 4 Director's Cut that was not announced last week, and also available this week on Game Pass, Jackbox Party Pack 2 and Space Hulk Tactics. So again, add them at least. Give them a shot.
There you go. I like that. I'm a big fan of adding it to the library. You don't have to download it. Just add them. Let that library grow.
Right.
Well, thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
Every week we ask you guys a question. Last week was no different. We asked you, what's the most intense moment that you've experienced in gaming? Oh yeah. Starting over on Facebook, we got Darius Stewart. Getting through the bike level on Battletoads. It speeds up towards the finish line, and you have to repeatedly move up and down. One mistake, and you die.
Ah.
Blair Hummer, Jack chasing you around in Resident Evil 7 was pretty intense. Yeah, I didn't make it that far in that game. Gabriel Anthony Marcano, when Modern Warfare 2 was the game to play, my friends and I registered our clan for Major League Gaming. The times I had to go 1 versus 6 in a search and destroy and clutch win for my squad gave me heart palpitations. I know that's right. Jared R. Bradley, Far Cry 3, the very beginning, sneaking around the camp after being captured, watching them kill your brother, and trying to escape dogs and being fired at. Boy, I tell you, my blood was pumping. I love that.
I'm getting stressed just reliving these.
Exactly right. It's so true. Over on Twitter, we got at Retro Rinse Al. Getting surprised by the killer in Dead by Daylight.
Oh, man.
The music cues make me freaking yelp every time. I know that's right. At Jody Draws, our girl Jody. Horde killing in Days Gone, where I ran into a vehicle and got swarmed. Oh, I can imagine that. And Chris, maybe you'll know what this means. At Notorious Jinx. The penultimate ending of Metal Gear Solid 4. You know what that means, Chris?
The second to last ending?
Penultimate.
I don't remember what the word penultimate means.
So like there was like, you thought it was ended and then actually wasn't, and there was a true ending?
Because it has multiples.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Or, well, kind of just like the Lord of the Rings, when the Return of the King was like, it's over. Oh, wait, no, there's more. And, like, and it's done. Wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Over on the Discord, we got our boy Lim. There have been so many. In most recent days, the traffic to leave Jericho in Detroit Become Human was amazingly rough. Also, the last playable bit of Until Dawn made me ready to nap when I was done, but I didn't because that game freaked me out. I know that's right. I like this one, a skewed one. Being in the crowd at EVO 2019, watching MK Leo come from 2 games down to eventually win the tournament in a reverse sweep in Smash Ultimate. What? That would be awesome. I watched some EVO stuff, and I mean, you know, it's all fighting games, and it is tense because these jokers know how to play these freaking games. Golly. I love that so much. Calm Fury said, getting a victory royale for the first time in Fortnite.
Oh, nice.
I know that's right. I got one of those, but it was when they were doing like 20 versus 20 versus 20. So I don't know if that really counts. But I was like, sure, yay, man. My team won. I didn't even shoot my gun. I did build some stairs, though, into a wall on accident.
Perfect. Well done.
Exactly.
That's an aesthetic choice.
Yeah. Try to do that endless house that lady was building where all the stairs didn't go anywhere. You know where to find us. Facebook.com/married to the games, Twitter.com/MTTGcast, like Ed said, YouTube.com/married to the games. Of course, marriedtothegames.com, where every episode is listed there. If you want to go take a cruise through the back catalog and go to marriedtothegames.com. On Patreon, patreon.com/MTTG, if you'd like to support the show. And we're going to get it cranking up for Extra Life. Extra Life is coming up, and it's going to be here faster than we even realized. November, extra-life.org/team/MTTG. Come join up, and let's raise some money for the churns. And Tim.
Rate us on iTunes, because you can now see us on Mixer. Thanks, Ninja.
Nice.
At what point do we have to start calling it Apple Music?
Oh, yeah, huh?
Ooh,
or is it Apple Podcast? Like, did they switch
Apple
all
Podcast.
of them out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, my iTunes still works. I still use iTunes, but I don't know when that's
I think it's the next version of macOS is Catalan or something like that. When that drops, it's no longer going to have it. I think it's going to transition the switch over to where it is still available. The name is different, I think. Something like that.
There you go.
It's still in beta. It doesn't officially release till like October or November or somewhere around there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're on all the things.
Yeah, we've got all
We
the
on them
things.
things.
Yeah, if
That's
you can't
right.
find us, it's your fault.
That's right.
Or their fault.
Especially if you're listening already.
What's
True.
up, Google Play?
Yeah, what
Yeah,
up?
Google Play, what the freak? Every now and then, them jokers just won't post the podcast. I don't know why.
Like
Right.
back in the day with Stitcher, like, no.
Yeah, we had to write
Right.
I had to write an angry letter.
Yeah, you did.
I'm just kidding. It wasn't that angry. I was like, hey, what's up? They're like, oh, sorry.
That's exactly how it went down too.
That's the full conversation.
Yeah, that was the full
That's it.
back
That's
and
the
forth.
transcript.
Yeah,
That's it.
Sorry.
it was an AIM conversation.
That's right.
MSN Messenger.
I was like, oh, man, where'd they go? Oh, they're back.
And back up.
Oh, man, their internet must be acting up. Ka-chunk.
Sorry.
Well, let's get into some questions.
Let's get into some questions, shall we? We will start with Discord. We will start with Mal Corvus. What is a retro game that you loved to play as a kid but never beat, that you would love to go back to and try and beat today?
Ooh. Old school game that I never beat. You know what? I never beat Final Fantasy IX, and I actually really liked that one. I don't know if I ain't got the time these days to go back and play it, but I remember loving that game while I was playing it. I'll say Final Fantasy IX. Ed?
You know, I can't honestly think of one just because
Dragon's Lair 2?
Oh, I beat that one.
Okay, good.
I've got no desire really to go back. You know, like I downloaded the Sonic game, the old classic Sonic from Sega Genesis, and I played it for maybe 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't think I like these anymore.
Ah.
So I think the new games have spoiled me. I can't think of any retro games I really want to play again.
We're definitely spoiled, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So was
Christopher?
the question, which one would we want to go back and finish?
Yeah, sure, that you would love to go back. Or even if you have, maybe you can say something about that.
Oh man, I'm kind of in the Ed camp there. I don't think I ever beat any of the Mario games, like all the way to the very last end.
Mhm.
But I also don't really have any desire to go back and do it either.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one that I didn't beat that I do want to go back and beat it someday. It was like, oh, I got to knock that off the list. There's just not one.
There you go. Tim?
You know what's funny? In the arcades, I never was able to complete Dragon Slayer. Ever. And so
Really?
when it came out on mobile, I played it and got through. I'm like, oh, so that's how it ends. I never knew like how everything ended because I never was able to beat that game.
Yeah.
So there it is.
There you go.
Bad Gamer Elite, that Lem guy. Mystery Heroes. What was the last thing you were wrongfully accused of, and how did you handle it? Oh boy, Lem, you got some
I
stuff
know,
going on
Yeah.
in the old homestead. What's
Yeah.
going on, brother? You need to talk. Come on. Last thing you were wrongfully accused of, and how did you handle it?
Wow.
You know, I live a pretty open life, and I don't have too much. I don't know if I have anything like that. Wrongfully, I'll tell this story. I remember I was in school when I was really little, and I don't even remember what happened, but my mom thought I was lying about something, and the way my mom dealt with lying back then was that she would wash my mouth out with soap. And so she
delicious.
pulled me aside, washed my mouth out with soap, went and talked to my teacher, and found out I was telling the truth. So I think I dealt with it by crying a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Chris?
I mean, this is so weird and random, this one thing. And it was very, very small thing because nothing really became of it. But when I think I was in middle school, I may have been like in 7th or 8th grade, I used to walk home from school. And this one day I was walking home from school and I got close to this house that was near my house, like down at the end of the street. And I saw this like little broom in the front lawn of like by the sidewalk. Like it was like something a little doll would have necessarily. I picked it up and looked, and I was like, well, that's a goofy looking little broom. And to my recollection, I just dropped it on the ground and I walked off. The next day I'm walking by and this mom comes out and she's like screaming at me. She's like, my kid said you stole her little broom and all this stuff. I was like, I steal a
Wow.
little broom? What are you even talking about? And she like berated me like crazy. She called me white trash. all kinds
No
of
way.
Oh yeah, and then but I mean,
Wow.
Was she white?
Was she white?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, well, that's weird.
Once she was done berating me, she went back in her house, and I didn't see her ever again. I was like, I don't have your little broom. I don't know what happened to it.
What in the world?
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. So nothing really came of it, but I was just like, I did not steal a broom.
Her president must not have won that year.
I guess. Shoot, I don't know.
Clearly.
She was just mad.
Clearly.
Wow.
Tim?
Mad. I have so around my household they call me the stacker because I'd hate clutter, and so what I'll do is if there's stuff that's lying around, I will put it all together, organize it, and kind of stack it up so that if Lauren needs to go through and take a look at something, or if Piper does, they can. It's still out in the open, but it's just stacked up so it clears the space. And there have been numerous times where there's been paperwork from school or something that was missing, and the beauty of it is when I am right and I did not do it, the way I handle it is just by kind of be like, I'm sorry, what was that? What happened? What was going on? I kind of like to throw it back at them, which is so much fun. So that's how I like to handle it.
Do you mean they blame you for stacking when you didn't stack?
They blame me for misplacing things because I stack.
Oh.
So like when I stack paper, but like I know like if there's something that's important for school and I need to look at it and Lauren needs to look at it, boom, that's like one of the first things on top. And so that you can see it. And so, yeah, it's just, but I love giving it back to him. Like, I'm sorry, was I right? Was that something that
Yes,
you did and I
funny.
didn't? Oh, it's the best.
That's right.
Wow.
Yes.
Being right
So
is great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like
I
it.
we got
remember when I was in elementary school, I don't even remember what the crime was, but someone had done something. It was one of those where everyone's staying at their desk until, and you're not going to recess until whoever did this fessed up.
Ooh.
And
Ooh, like
that's
that.
the first time I realized I have a guilty face in those situations. And I remember
Oh.
sitting there thinking, I know I didn't do this, but I know I look like I did.
Yeah,
And
I do the same thing. I smile.
because of that, the last time I was accused of something, I think it's when I was at Chris McCracken's house and we were playing Secret Hitler.
Ah,
And
Oh.
nice.
I knew I wasn't a fascist, but I knew I looked like I was.
That is awesome.
That's amazing, Ed.
That's really cool.
That's funny.
Good question, Lemon, and hope everything's going well over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tim knows a good
Holly-
lawyer if you need one.
Yeah, right? Yep. Hollywood Bones.
Ow, ow, ow.
I love this question. What's something you think every person should experience in their lifetime?
Mm.
Being a waiter.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
nice.
really good.
There
That's
you go.
really
I
good.
don't
I've
like
never-
that answer, but it's a good answer.
It's a great answer. Yes.
I've never been a waiter.
Yeah.
But I've been in service for a long time,
Yes.
you know, as an assistant
Yes.
and in other ways. And so I think everybody needs a job where they have to just serve someone.
Yes.
Because I think then you appreciate it more when somebody's serving you.
Not only that, but they need to have, and again, I'm saying this from a person who's never done food service or anything like that. But like if that were a thing where everybody had to do it, also like and get stiffed on a tip or something, just so you know
What that
what
feels
that
like.
feels like.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
If I stiff someone on a tip, because I will do it, I always leave a note on the receipt.
Do you?
Always.
Interesting.
I'll say, hey, service, you know, and I'll explain maybe something that happened or something like that. I never won't. I
You can
won't
end
ever
up on the internet.
I won't.
Yeah, man.
I won't ever not tip. It'll just be lower than like the 20% I usually always do.
Oh,
It'll be
Oh,
like
gotcha,
10%
gotcha.
or something like that. And I'll be
Yeah.
like, hey, this is why it was 10%.
Got it.
Yeah. What do you think, Ed? What's something that everybody should experience?
I'll say a cross-country drive by yourself.
Ooh.
I don't know about that one.
Chris.
Yeah. Says the guy with the electric car that's scared of batteries going dead.
That's right.
Yeah, but even
It's
if I was in
so
gas,
amazing.
I don't want to by myself is the part I'm not down with. The cross country driving, sure, but I want to have a teammate.
Yes, I have done that. I haven't done it by myself, but I've definitely done a cross country drive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's a good one. I like that. What do you think, Tim?
I'm going to add to that and say travel to a different country.
Ooh, yeah.
I think it's so amazing. It really doesn't. it makes you think, and we just did this, of course, in London. It just makes you think it's such a big world, and there's so many things out there, and you just soak it all in, and it's such a great feeling. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Japan, I'm coming, baby.
That's right. Come on.
Keep the light on.
That's right.
Chris, you have something else besides server?
No, not that I can think of.
There you go.
All right.
Good
Perfect.
question.
Moving on. The wrong. You have been given the power to force each of your co-hosts to play one game from beginning to end that they haven't played. What would you choose and why?
Oh, shoot. That's tough.
Mm.
Dang it, Tim says.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, now that Chris has said it, I would say Super Mario World
Okay.
on the SNES. That's just a great game. Edward, I would say Final Fantasy X.
10.
Yeah, because it was I don't know if it's the first one, but like I remember like just kind of enjoying the voice acting in it, and it was still kind of in voice acting's infancy, and it's still like a good enough story. I wouldn't say play 10 too, but just like 10.
And it holds up, you think?
No, probably not.
I'll just scratch that off then.
Yeah, it might. I have no idea. And I'm gonna say Tim should play. Oh gosh,
Just pick one, bro.
I know, right? I'm gonna say Shenmue on the Dreamcast.
Okay.
Yes, because
And
I
he's
think
gonna
you
have
would.
to play it on Saturday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is correct, sir. Shenmue
There you
Saturdays.
Oh,
Router.
man, that's a good
Hilarious.
question. What say
is a
you,
good question.
Ed? Can you come up with some?
Man. Well, Gabe, you're playing Detroit, so that's off the list.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go with Watch Dogs 2 for you.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
I have
nice.
started it.
Yep. Tim, you get Detroit.
Ooh,
All
yeah,
right.
that's
Okay.
great.
Yep, that's a good one.
He would like it more than he thinks.
And Chris,
Tough one.
wow. I'll give Chris Quantum Break.
Okay.
Ooh, you never played
That's
Quantum
good.
Break, Chris?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I liked that game. I did that on my Extra Life stream last year. Yeah, I
Mhm.
like that one.
You made it through the whole thing during it, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
beat it,
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Chris, what say you?
Tim is playing through Metal Gear Solid 5.
I knew.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I was
I saw
surprised
that
that
coming.
we're all not getting a Metal Gear. That's what I felt coming. Was like,
No.
each
Yeah.
other play a certain
For-
way.
Oh, I know I was.
Because I really do think you just get.
Yes, I need to give it another shot.
I think you would flip a switch, just like you
Yep.
did with Overwatch. I think it would happen.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Let's see here. Ed would play through like an entire like one of those build my season kind of thing of like Madden and NFL.
Oh God!
What?
Why
Oh,
do
that's-
that
Why
to
do you
him?
hate me?
That's hurtful.
I think it'd be funny.
That's definitely hate speech.
I tried to give you one I thought you might enjoy a little.
Okay, I'll do this. It still has to be a sports game, but I'd let you pick the sport. But you still have to do the like from.
Oh, I like
do
that, Chris.
I'll do baseball.
Okay, there you
No,
go. The show.
don't do
The show.
baseball,
Yeah,
Ed.
I'll
Do
do the show.
fight night.
Yeah, because you can be the Cubs.
Yeah,
No.
but
Yeah,
that's
there you go.
there's so many games.
That's even better. I like the show because I want to see him play as the Cubs with his Cubs hat on stream.
Okay.
right.
That'd be good.
Yeah. all right.
And then Gabe.
Hi.
I need to play all these on stream and yell at you guys the entire time.
Gabe, did you ever play the original Metal Gear?
I didn't play
Snap.
Metal Gear
Metal
Solid,
Gear.
excuse
I
me.
played Metal Gear Solid. I played I played
Okay.
that one. And I played the other one. Which the one's the one you have to plug in player 2?
That's Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I played that one. I beat that one.
Okay. Then for you,
And liked it and enjoyed it.
Yeah. For you, I would say, but you did not. Correct me if I'm wrong here, because I can't remember. I think it was the rest of us that played it, but you didn't play Assassin's Creed Odyssey, did you?
I did not. Is that the new one with the brother
Yeah,
and
that was the
sister?
one that you
Yeah.
dabbled a little bit with the project stream or whatever.
Yes,
before it
but I
was
never made it past like the first level or
Yeah,
something.
I would tell you to play that one because that's a really good game.
Really?
It's an
Yeah.
amazing game.
I think the last Assassin's Creed I played was Black Flag.
That was
Wow.
that was
Wow.
not the last one I played, but that was the last one I liked before Odyssey.
Oh man, Odyssey was that good.
Yeah, it's really good. And I didn't play any of the DLC. I just played the base game, but really good.
I'm sorry, I played until you got the owl or whatever. That was the last thing I remember doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you still
Or
had a
the
lot to go.
Hawk or whatever.
Yeah,
You have a lot to go.
yeah.
Really?
There's a lot going on.
That
there,
wasn't towards
buddy.
the end. You didn't get the Hawk at the end.
No, that wasn't the final
There's a
triumphant.
couple more
yeah,
missions.
Yeah, there's a few more things.
Just a few. Just a few.
I hope there's not missions back to back because that would be ridiculous in a video game.
Yeah.
I was like, I
Video
love that this
game.
map is only 200 square yards.
Yeah, man. Those are good ones. Tim, did you do it?
Okay, Gabe,
Yeah.
you have got to get to Skellige, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You're gonna
man.
finish
that feels
Witcher
right
3.
for him to tell you
You
that.
have to
feels
finish
right.
Witcher
You
3.
gotta
It's
get
so
the
good.
Skellige, brother.
That's right, man. Come on. Ed, I'm kind of with Chris on this. You got to play a sports game, so you're going NHL 19.
Ooh, wee. God, I'm so sorry, Ed.
I love you, but I'm sorry. And then Chris, man, I don't know. Because I feel like,
Follow your heart.
man,
I was genuinely going to get these games and play them, and now I'm not.
no, you're
Still
totally
get mine.
not.
Still get mine.
Hey, mine's good too. Look, playing
No.
as the Cubs with a Cubs hat on stream, that'd be amazing.
I'm not playing a hockey game.
Chris,
I'm feeling
you
you
never.
there.
Did you finish Bioshock Infinite?
I never played Bioshock.
Oh!
All right, you're playing. Well,
What?
well, you are now. well, you
Oh,
are
that
now.
game is so good.
That game is so good. Yeah, you're doing the Bioshocks. Either and well, yeah,
Just
Infinite.
Infinite.
Just Infinite?
yeah. I'll put
Okay.
you just on Infinite. That's
Okay.
good. Yeah, you're playing Infinite.
I wrote a song
Okay.
about it.
Yep, you did write a song about. Oh man, that game is so good.
Gosh, I wish
Wait,
I could
Tim, have
forget
you played
everything.
an
in
entire season of NHL 19?
No, he hasn't. He owned
No,
one
but
of
I've
those
played
games.
some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at Target. When it's set up at the
Well, here's the
kiosk,
thing:
you played
Ed,
some.
every game that I would even offer to you, you've already played, and you probably played twice. So it's like I gotta.
That is a valid point.
It's a very valid point. Like you, like are far above any level that I would ever get to because you play so many games and I don't. So I had to throw. I had to throw a wrench into this.
I'm surprised you
one and
didn't
just
give him
you that.
Witcher.
Well, I can't. I wasn't going to do two
Witchers.
games.
Yeah, I got you.
That, you know,
So that's
for-
it. Answers are locked in, and we're game's over, right?
Answers are locked. Yep, answers are locked.
Wow.
Man, I am so glad nobody gave me The Witness because that ain't happening.
Ooh,
I can't finish that.
I'd have
Are
been
you
so
kidding me?
Yeah.
screwed to be like,
Was that the
I'm never
puzzle game?
losing. That would be a 24-year stream that I'd never
Yep.
finish.
No, it would be you'd finish in like 3 hours because you'd YouTube everything.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Well, I'm a genius. Look at me, just flying through this game.
You
Why
would
is
get
it so
it done.
hard?
Pay no
everyone.
attention that I keep looking to the left.
Great question. Thank you for that.
I love that. That's fun. Good answers, everybody.
Yeah,
too.
that was fun.
Off
Yeah,
the top
yeah,
of the
good
dome.
job.
That was good.
Cheechzilla, Ryan Straub. What is the strangest question you've been asked in an interview? I was on a team looking for a developer, and one of the others asked the interviewee, "How would you design a spice rack for a blind person?" I wanted
What?
to answer the question for them, and you say, "Use scratch and sniff stickers, of course."
Oh Lord, have mercy.
What?
That's pretty genius.
That's a crazy question.
That is a crazy question. I would assume interview, Gabe, clearly it's got to be some sort of PR interview or something, but I'm assuming also job interview or just any type of an interview.
Yeah. Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything
That's a tough one. Yeah, I haven't job interviewed, I don't think, ever.
since you were, yeah, I haven't done it in like 19 years.
Yeah, everybody I've always worked with, I've always at least known them. I'll say this. I'll say this one only because I knew the truth. So when we first started with Toby, before he was so gracious enough to put us on salary, or in music we call it retainer, and what you do is you put your band on a retainer so they don't go get other work and start, so you don't have 7 different drummers that you have to like kind of bounce around between. And so before he put us on retainer, I had to work at BMI to kind of like supplement some income because, that year was slow or whatever. And I knew that I was going to work there for probably 2 to 4 months. And they were like, "How long do you see yourself at this company?" And I was like,
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, like, I'm here. I have a problem
That's
with I have a problem with lying, like a bad problem. I don't like lying because I feel like when I was younger, it came really easy to me. Oh, I'm about to get on the freeway. Like just that kind of stuff. Like I just don't like little white lies, right? And so I always try to tell the truth, but my tone might be lying. if that makes any sense.
Give me an example.
Look at this picture of my baby, and you're like, oh yeah, there goes your baby. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, they're expecting you to say, oh, it's cute or something like that. And so, you know, when they asked me how long I plan on staying, I knew I wasn't staying long, but I can't tell them that or they're not going to give me the job and I need to work there. And so, yeah, so I remember being like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, not long. But to them, I'm like, you know, hey, man, I'm up in here, right? Come on now. Ed?
I honestly can't think of one. Nothing weird or
Ooh, I have a better one.
Do it.
Sorry. So when I was when I was 16 or 17, my mom never let me have just one job, right? I always had to like have 2 or 3 jobs. And so one of the jobs I was gonna have was I was gonna go work at Lifeway Christian stores.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't want to do, but I was just gonna do it just for a job, right? Because when you're 16, I don't freaking care. And so I went in for the interviews, did all that, and that was fine. And then they needed one follow-up interview before I went to training. And in between times, I'd gotten my hair twisted up, like, because I was going to start growing dreads. Well, if you don't know anything about Lifeway, Lifeway is a very conservative company. Very conservative. And so when I went for the follow-up interview and I had my hair all twisted up, the guy goes, so, are you going to keep your hair like that?
Oh, boy.
And I was like, yeah. And he goes, man, I really wish you would have talked to us before doing your hair like that. And he still let me go to the training, but I just didn't show up because I was like, oh, if it's that kind of company, then I'm not going to go work there.
No, that's
so
smart.
I think my strangest question is, are you going to keep your hair like that?
No thanks.
Ed, you want to use that one?
Yeah, I'll use that one. Is Gabe going to keep his hair like that?
I'm using that one too, actually, because I can't think of anything either.
Chris, you ever had any strange questions?
I'm sure there was some question that was a little odd that old Sean Capri sent to me, but I just got lost in his Canadian handsome eyes and I just can't remember it.
I get it. I get it.
That's good.
It's distracting.
Because that man's got some good questions.
Yeah, he does.
Fantastic. Yes.
Nice.
All right. Well, good question. Thanks, Ryan. Anyway, New Breed. How do you keep your cool when stupid pet peeves tick you off, i.e., bad drivers, kids, teens leaving a mess in the house? I'm former military, did 2 tours in Iraq, and I've been learning to keep my cool over the years. And now that I don't have a regular 9 to 5, I think that has helped a lot by not adding to my already stressed out brain.
Yeah. God bless you for your service, number one.
Thank you, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. And to be honest, if you're in the military, I think you have to learn, it's kind of ingrained in to keep your cool when you're in stressful situations, when you're out on doing your tours.
Yeah,
so
right.
Godspeed to you. Yeah. So, all right. How do you keep cool?
Oh,
you know what? For me, sometimes it's good just to yell. Like I
that's how you keep your cool.
I have, yes, yell it out.
You lose it.
I'm thinking of, exactly. You totally lose it. I'm thinking of road rage. Like I will just yell. I'm like, just yell it out. And then I feel better after that.
Edward?
I find that if I make fun of someone, it kind of
there you go.
Like, especially like if I'm playing playing Overwatch, I'll just make fun of their username, no matter what it is.
Yes.
You know, and I'll just make fun of them and make a little joke about it. And that, just kind of laugh it off.
Passive aggressive.
Exactly.
I'm the same way. So when, because I've got road rage pretty bad because people can't drive here in Tennessee.
Amen.
They don't,
to
like
that,
every blinker
man.
is broken. Woo. The cops don't use their blinkers. Like it's a problem here, right? People just change lanes. They park crazy. And so the old passive aggressive thumbs up is where I go.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Chris?
Man, I'm just do the old school, swallow it down and leave it there. And then it explodes later on.
Nice.
Because I want to just, with little things, like there's very little that truly upsets me to the point where it's like, oh, I want to go really like get in a person's face. Like I don't really want to do that, but I do like to just instantaneously let off some steam. If I'm by myself, I'll do that. But Stacy doesn't want me, like if some person pulls in front of me and like cuts me off, my initial instinct is to be like, oh my gosh, did you see what that jerk almost hit me? Do that. Stacy doesn't want to hear that. So I just keep it in. and then if I'm playing a game, like if I'm in my own party, and I'm not listening to the game chat, I may be like, why are you going over there? Like, why are you attacking me over there? Yeah, exactly. But if I'm in game chat because I'm trying to see like, well, maybe I'll actually try to coordinate with these people. If they're doing something stupid, I was like, hey, how about we go over this way? And they don't want to do it. I just leave it in, and I just hold it in for about 5 or 6 games, and then like, what do you do? Go back to back to my party chat where I can actually vent it out.
Basically. Nice. I like that. Good question. Thank you for that. Did we get everybody?
Yep.
Yes.
I think so.
Facebook, Travis Pospisil. What do your wives actually think about the podcast?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think Jenny's indifferent to it. But I do get to, when I do share with her some of the heart touching emails and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That always re-energizes her a lot. And so I think she's, it's like he's over there doing a good work. I think it's kind of that attitude. She never listened to it or anything like that. She's come out to all the Century episodes though and supported in that way and really helped at 100 when we had no idea what we were doing, and getting pizza with Lauren and Hall's wife. But I think she's pretty separate from it, but I think at the end of the day, I think I'm glad that I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris?
Stacy's a fan and listens to virtually every episode.
Yeah, she is.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
What about old Sarah there, Edward?
She doesn't listen, but she could not be happier that this exists.
Really?
That's great.
Because she knows, just like you said at the top of the show, Gabe, she knows that we are here to be positive and to put and to bring positivity to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And she is all about that. And she's all about people doing what they love and chasing what they love and chasing their dreams. And if it's video games and you're chasing that, then she couldn't be happier for you.
There you go. I love that. What about Lauren there, Tim?
Yeah, Lauren is a lot like Jenny, Gabe. She's she's like, oh yeah, you've got a podcast. It's awesome. And it's kind of cool because when we've gone out with people and especially some of these newer people that, Piper makes friends with, and then we go out with them, like we talk about, oh yeah, Tim's on a podcast. They've been doing it for 360 weeks straight, and it's about video games. And yeah, I mean, she's definitely encouraging. And I always I'll forward the emails that we've gotten from some of our listeners, just really amazing stories. And so she's like, yeah, I think the word is indifferent. Like she knows it's a part of our lives. And so she's like, great, do it.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Perfect. Good question. I kind of like that. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Nick Hauntress, if you could play one Overwatch character for the rest of your life, who would you pick and why?
It's gotta be me.
With all her bad skins.
Yeah. Yeah, either her or Moira, man. I really do love Moira.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Only because she's got like the healing and I love playing DPS Moira.
Yep.
Shoot, that's tough. Doggone it. It like in my head it really is May because she's doggone it. It might be Moira. Shoot. I don't know.
The inner struggle.
I know. It's real.
It is real. It's real, my friends.
I'm gonna go with Moira.
Ooh, nice.
She's more of a team player.
Nice. I like that.
More for the whole team.
I love that.
What say you, Edward?
I'm just like, sort of just like you, Gabe. My first reaction was Junkrat, but then I'm like, you know what? But I kind of like sitting back with Moira and being able to do both, heal and hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I choose Moira a lot more now than I do Junkrat.
There you go.
I'll take your first pick, Ed. I love Junkrat. I'll take Junkrat. Yeah, he's just fun. I love trapping people. It's just so much fun. Yep. Tick tock, tick tock. Yeah,
Dipstick.
Totally, dude.
He's got the best lines in that game.
Anybody want some barbecue?
Yeah.
I'd give it a 3.
He's so fun. I thoroughly enjoy Junkrat.
Is there anybody with better lines than him? He's got the best lines in the game, right?
Soldier's got some good lines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's pretty bitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty
very
bitter.
I like it.
Chris?
All right. My initial, I'm not going to say Moira, but she's definitely like, my head was going to Moira and one other. And I think the other one, and I'm going to choose the other one simply just so I'm not saying Moira again, but I'm going to say Zenyatta.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really like playing
You're a good Zenyatta.
healers that can heal the team, but also are good at DPS because I like
Yeah.
dealing damage. If you can deal
Me too.
damage and also help your team, awesome.
That's right.
Yes.
And Moira and Zenyatta both are really good. They're both good at it in different ways.
Mhm.
Moira's definitely better at healing faster anyways and can heal more people, multiple people at once. But it would be a hard toss up between the two of those. But just to have a different answer, I'm going to say Zenyatta.
You be throwing them
Nice.
9s out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
I
Love
like
that.
it. Does he have good lines? What does he say?
He's got a few that are all right, but nothing
Nothing crazy.
Nothing like super like, oh, that one really stands out. I'm going to do that. I'm going to spam that line.
Yeah, I don't know any of Moira's lines.
Moira's line is, I just love stupidity is not a right.
Yep.
Ooh.
I'm working.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
I just love that when you acknowledge someone said something, when you click understand, she'll go, I heard you.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm like, I did not mean it like that.
Exactly.
I
Or
heard
maybe you did.
That's good. That's great. Good question. All right,
She has
Scotty
the worst
Clark.
dance in the game, though.
Shit, that's a bad dance.
It's
Yeah,
so
she's a bad
bad.
dancer.
I refuse to use it. I'm so mad that they gave her that stupid dance.
Ed, use it. Ed, use it next time you play with him, please.
That is so funny.
All right, let's move on. Scotty Clark, if you had to lose one of your 5 senses, which would you give up?
Man.
And which sense would you wish your worst enemy to lose? Woo.
Well,
I wish
mean,
my worst
brutal.
enemy would lose sight so they can't fight me.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
agree.
Yeah, I think everybody's choosing that. I'm going with taste
Man, why you didn't do
Ooh.
that?
would you lose
because
taste?
then I'd eat healthier.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I couldn't taste anything, but I still want to be able to smell, and I know they're linked, but taste for sure. Ed,
Okay.
I think I'll get rid of smell just to be different. I was gonna say taste. I'll get rid
Yeah.
of smell. Yeah.
yeah, smell. That sounds right.
Yep.
Chris,
Yep.
ESP. No.
oh, jeez.
Spider.
My
Yeah.
Peter Tingle. Far from
Wow.
home throwback. Shoot, man. Now that you mentioned that, that's probably the best one. It's definitely not going to be sight. It's not going to be hearing.
Not gonna be touch.
Not going to be touch. Shoot, man. I'm going to have to say taste too, and I don't like saying that.
You can say
That
smell.
really is that. No, because I think
I don't know when the
when
last
you
time
really
I smelled
break
something,
it
I was
down,
like, ooh,
I
that
think
smells
smell
really
is
good.
even more important.
Okay, gotcha. That's when you know, like, a gas leak is happening.
Yeah, and like
Right.
there's so many times where I'm in a place and I smell something and instantly like it takes me back to like a time or a memory
That's
of some
true.
sort. I don't think I've ever tasted something and been like, oh, this banana pudding reminds me of when I was 6 years old and everything. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever had that.
I got
Well, how many times have you been somewhere and you're like, oh, what is that smell?
That's
Oh.
true. And then I'm like, hey, you got to smell this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Here, come smell this.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm because in the height of my allergies and nasal polyps, I didn't really have a sense of smell. So I will gladly give that up again.
There you go.
It's very good if you have a young child and you're changing diapers because
right.
it did not affect me very much at all. So I'm happy to give up smell, and I would definitely say sight for the worst enemy.
Oh,
We
yeah.
all
Oh,
said
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, my worst enemy can lose his sense of touch. I just
Yeah,
want to watch
That's
that.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
like that.
For sure.
Plus,
Nice.
they'd be even worse at video games.
Oh, true.
Yep.
True.
Hands just all on the keyboard. They're like, H, 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 H.
JK. Yeah, that's awesome.
Walking around like they're
Hands on the
moon.
stove again. Oh, crap.
Yeah.
What's that burning? All right. Last question. Twitter at Dopalicious. There's been a push for better representation in games. Overall, I'm for it, but it's near impossible to represent everyone. So is that really a solution or just a band-aid over a deeper, more personal issue? Should developers worry about this or just tell their story? I feel so many mediums just throw in a token character just to hit more representation boxes, and it just comes off as an afterthought.
Mm.
I think there is definitely some times where it feels forced, right?
Yeah.
Um, But as a black guy, I always feel like I want to champion those that are unseen, because at one time in this country, black people were unseen as, humans. And so I'm down for it, because I feel like even if it feels forced at first, maybe we get used to it and then it makes a more beautiful thing altogether. And so I definitely totally see what he's saying, where you're like, okay, that feels a little shoehorned in there. Especially when it hits on like being extremely stereotypically that thing.
Yeah.
But if it's not so stereotypically and it does come across as an afterthought, sometimes I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing and I don't hate it, because at the end of the day, I think we're better for it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yep.
That's just off the top of the head. I thought about it.
I'm with you. I would think if the storyline merits that, by all means, like,
that's right.
Yeah. You don't want to just throw it in, because you'll know, especially if you're involved and you're invested in the story, you're going to know that's just the throwaway. And it's just, they're not a throwaway, but it's just, that's the token person.
Yeah. And it takes you out of the story a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. Like, I want to be immersed in the story regardless of whoever it is.
Yes.
Like, if the story's there, perfect, great. And if it's not, it's not. And it's not bad that they're not represented, because then for me, that would probably lose part of the merit of the story if they just threw it in there.
I agree with that too.
Because Gabe, you and I are kind of story guys. So I definitely, I want to be immersed in that story, but genuinely and organically. And it doesn't need to be forced.
Yeah, I can get with that as well.
Sweet.
I think there's both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's
there
some
is.
stories that lend to like, it can include a lot more different people. And then there's some stories, like we were just talking about BioShock Infinite. That thing set an undertone of racism really early. So if they were like, yeah, but we do have like all these really well-spoken black people over here that everybody's, what I'm saying? Then you're like, oh, well, like stick with the thing a little bit. Ed, what do you think?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with what you guys have been saying. I think at the same time, we don't need nearly as many people with those checklists. I mean, a lot of times that's why people do the checklists, is because everyone who's angry about it they're giving them checklists.
Yep.
So it's kind of a balance to, somewhere between let the person tell their story, but at the same time be open to other suggestions and options.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there is our answer.
Totally agree. Chris?
No, let people tell their story how they want to tell it. That's what I think. And to me, the way that I look at it is, I'm fine with people like saying, hey man, I'd really like to have more games with more, African Americans or more Latinos or more, whatever it is. Because, they're like, I really want to see more people like me in the game. Got no problem with that at all. But the people, the artists, the writers that are making the story, to me, you just let them make whatever their idea is that's in their head. And because the way I look at it is, as the social norms change, people's ideas they're going to be creating those stories in their head with the diversity in there. So to me, as long as we as a society push more towards being more diverse just in life in general, that's just going to happen naturally. And then you're never going to have this shoehorned feel. So to me, I say, whatever the story is that comes to your head and to your heart, if you're the writer and you're writing this narrative, just write it how it hits the pen, to paper. Don't change anything to try and, I've got to make sure I hit quota X for this, that, or whatever the thing is, because it's going to naturally just evolve that way. I agree. Sometimes it takes way too long. It's a little too slow to do it. That's where I think having the outside pressure of like, man, I'd really like to have this, creatives, but I don't think you should berate people because there wasn't enough of this and yada, yada, yada. It's like, if it's a narrative thing,
I totally agree with that. If somebody's told a story that wasn't all inclusive of everything, come on, guys.
Now, on the flip side, if it's like a multiplayer game, like Apex, like, yeah, man, put somebody from every race, creed, gender, religion all over the place in that game. That makes total sense. Yeah. Absolutely do that. But if it's a narrative and it's a story and that person's passionate about that story, let them write it how it hits their head.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how I say.
Love it.
Yeah.
Totally. If Kratos would have had an adopted black son, I would have been really sad about that. You know what I'm saying?
I thought, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it goes along with what Chris was saying. Like, if it makes sense, yeah. And I would even add to Chris's saying, because I totally hear what Chris is saying, but like, if you can stretch, I say stretch. If you can. Don't try to force, though, a bunch of black guys into Lord of the Rings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know, I got to say, Spider-Man had very well-rounded characters and kind of represented quite a few, which I thought was really good. And it felt very natural.
Yeah. I do hate when it feels like an afterthought, though.
Yeah.
When somebody like reveals a backstory on somebody and it's like way out there and you're like, oh, come on. That was...
Right.
But also, we get it. We understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
We do get it. Great. That's it for all the questions. Thank you, everybody. Man, we had some good ones. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you guys so much. The question of the week for you guys is, have you ever finished a game on principle alone? Because you were like, I just, either I spent the money on it, I can't take it back, or I'm close to the end anyway. Have you ever finished a game on principle alone? The two that pop in my head was Persona 4. I kind of had gotten so deep into it. You know, once you hit like the 40-hour mark, you're like, well, I mean, I can't give up now. That's just me. I'm not saying that's for other people. And then to complete my resolution from last year, y'all know how I felt about that old Shaq Fu. But
That's right.
it was free. And I played it and I beat it. Ed, have you ever finished a game on principle alone?
Nah.
I know. I knew that is exactly what you were going to say.
That's awesome.
I finished it because I like it, and if I don't like it, I want to have fun, so I'll move on.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Have you finished a game because of the stream? Like maybe you're like a little over it.
Nope.
But you're like, well, I've kind of gotten this far on the stream. Let me go ahead and finish this up.
There are multiple unfinished games in my archives.
That's awesome. I kind of love that though, man.
I started to get a little burned out on Borderlands, so I took a break, but I went back to it just because I wanted to play it. It's all I wanted to play it.
Yep.
That if I'm not having fun, then no one's having fun.
There you go. Chris, you ever finish a game on principle alone?
I'm sure that I did in my younger days, you know, of NES, SNES, or early PlayStation N64. Somewhere around there, I probably did. But in the past, 5, 6, 10 years or so, no, I have not. I'm very much the same in the Ed camp. In fact, I've done the exact opposite. There's been many a game where I get to I'm pretty sure this is final boss, and I'm not having fun, I'm out.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I do not care. If I am not enjoying your game, I am done.
Yep. I like that.
What say you, Tim?
Lighty's gonna hate me for this one. I angrily finished
Halo
because I had just gotten Xbox One with the Master Chief Collection. I was invested in it. I'm like, hey, I bought it. I got it bundled. Let me go through it, and I could not wait to get rid of that game.
Is that our first anger or rage completion?
Rage completion. Good call, Ed. Rage. That was a rage completion. I was like, oh, thank God it's done.
That's funny.
Sorry, Lighty. I'm so sorry.
He knows.
So sorry.
He knows.
I love you, man. You know that.
Let us know, is there a game that you finished on principle alone? And we will talk about it next week. Thank you guys so much for being here. 360 in the books. We so appreciate you guys. And we will see you guys next week, of course. Same bat time, same bat channel. I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That all the way over there is Chris McCracken. And we are married to the games, and we are up out this thing. Bang!